took over, right? Took over all that was visible. And the visible, of course, before order, it was without form. So God desired as far as possible that all things should be good and nothing evil. Whereupon, when he took over all that was visible, seeing that it was not in a state of rest, but in a state of discordant and disorderly motion, he brought it into order out of disorder. So what did he do? Look here. He took over. He saw, he made a judgment. Right? He took over. He was seeing disorder. He brought it into order out of disorder, deeming that the former state is always better than the latter. So he brought it, he took over the visible, seeing the disorder, he brought it into order. So he is ordering, right? He took it over, and what did he do? First, he desired it to become like himself as much as possible. Therefore, the first thing he did, he took over the visible, seeing that it was in disorder, and he brought it into order. So the first creative step, in principle, is bringing into order. Springs from the very desire that the universe should be as much as possible like unto himself. And he deemed that the former state is always better than the latter, right? He deemed it, right? He judged it. He judged these two. He judged these two. And he said, this is always and always better than the other. Therefore, right away he makes a value judgment. This is better than that. And therefore, we can see another state, another judgment. He brought it in and judges the one better than the other. Therefore, see, desires took over the visible, seeing it was disorderly. He can see disorder. He brought it into order. He judged the one better than the other. For him who is most good, it neither was nor is permissible to perform any action save what is most fair. Our translation says fair, the word is beautiful. Therefore, not only did he bring it into order, but he brought it into an order that was beautiful. Therefore, beauty lies at the heart of the structure of this Platonic reality. For it's not permissible to perform any action save what is most beautiful, because that is his nature. If he's going to act, he's going to act in such a way that every act and everything he does can be judged beautiful. Now, notice now comes the ousia, now comes the reflection. All right, now he's going to do a reflection on this. All right, notice. As he reflected, therefore, he perceived that such creatures as are by nature visible, none that is irrational will be more beautiful, comparing whole with wholes, than the rational. And further, that reason cannot possibly belong to any apart from soul. And so because of this reflection, he constructed reason within soul and soul within body, and he fashioned the all. That so the work he was executing might be of its nature most beautiful and most good. So as he reflected, see, now he's reflecting. Now he's reflecting. In reflecting, he perceived, right? Got an insight, he perceived. In reflecting, he perceived that of such creatures as are by nature visible, none that is irrational will be more beautiful, comparing whole with wholes, than the rational. Therefore, the rational is beautiful, right? The rational is beautiful. He reflected. He reflected. Hey, this is a reflection. And he gained an insight. Right, he gained an insight, reflected. And he perceived. That's a he's perceived. that of creatures that are by nature visible, none that is irrational will be fairer or more beautiful, comparing whole with wholes, than the rational. But therefore, the rational, he got an insight. The insight into the fact that the rational is more beautiful than the irrational, and since every act he performs must be beautiful, he is then going to act accordingly, beautiful acts that are rational. And further, that reason cannot possibly exist without a soul, nor a soul without a body. So because of this reflection, another reflection, say another reflection, right? It's got another reflection, got another reflection. He constructed reason within soul, and soul within body, as he fashioned the all. So the work he was executing might be of its nature most beautiful and most good. See? Right? So the work he was executing might be by its very nature most beautiful and good. Therefore, he's guided by beauty and good. And therefore, if it's going to be, see, we always work backwards. Therefore, if we want to look at the nature of the mind of God and the nature of God, then the nature of God must be both beautiful and rational, ordered, good. So then, in fashioning the all, so this work might be executed in such a way, he desired, therefore, that the entire cosmos should come into existence as a living creature, and therefore the whole thing now, the whole universe now is like a living creature. The whole thing, the whole universe now is a living creature. Soul, therefore, must be spread around through the whole. And if soul is in it, therefore reason is in it, and if reason is in it, it must be beautiful, for it's ordered, and if it's ordered in such a way, the very nature of it will be judged to be good, for if it is beautiful, it is ordered, and it is better than that which is disordered. So therefore the entire thing, now the whole universe now is ensouled. The whole thing is ensouled. The whole thing has reason spread throughout it, and it takes on a visible form. Now look here. See, now we're after this. Now we're after this. This is really rather important, isn't it? In this creation, in any creation, the particular model we're looking at is that of the artist, right? The craftsman. Right? If he is going to do something creative, therefore, he must have some model in his mind. Right? He must focus his mind on the model. He then must have a skill which guides his hand, and so he can create the copy. And therefore, this idea in the creator's mind or the artist's mind is the model. Now we want to take a look at that. In this whole thing, since obviously from the beginning he desired that the universe should become as much as possible like unto himself, we now want to spend a little time on the model. This being established, we must declare that which comes next in order. In the semblance and the likeness of which of the living creatures did the constructor of the cosmos construct it? Well, I'm going to skip a bit. We shall affirm that the cosmos, more than aught else, resembles most closely that living creature